What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning back in, and today we're going to kick things off with talking about Gears 6. It appears that rumors and leaks are starting to pour out from the internet, and it is all stemming from a reveal over on the Xbox Era podcast where an individual over there stated that the Coalition Studio and Microsoft are planning to make Gears 5 the first game in the series with a fully open world. Now, we did see in Gears 5 that they did kind of experiment with this concept a little bit by having hub worlds that you can kind of move around in. They didn't have a whole bunch of life to them, but they did start kind of moving the whole franchise in the direction of an open world game. And according to the same individual, they reported that Microsoft is asking the developers to give players the freedom to move and choose their actions because such games are becoming very popular. So Microsoft is kind of keeping their ear to the ground, keeping in tune with the times, figuring out what fans want, and they really do feel that this would be a big relevant change to keep the Gears franchise kind of fresh and moving forward in its evolution. So it's definitely something to look forward to for what's going to happen with Gears 6. Now let's talk about StarField, where to even begin with this subject and the hype that is surrounding this title. We are seeing some people actually trying to downplay what is going on with StarField. Like recently, we're having the boundary limits fiasco take place. Even Paul Tassi touched on that on Twitter, saying that's actually getting ridiculous. Apparently, everybody's trying to compare StarField to No Man's Sky, where they, procedurally generated, and that you were able to kind of circumnavigate a planet without any issues. But apparently, there's some leaks saying that there will be a boundary screen that pops up where you might have a situation where you'll have to move the ship around because it can only render so much away from the ship. But that's where it's like, what do you expect? There is a lot going on here. This is not No Man's Sky. This is a very complicated game. There's a lot more NPCs. There's a lot more to it. I mean, like, I've played No Man's Sky, and already I feel that just what has been shown in Bethesda's footage of StarField already is night and day different than what No Man's Sky was. I'm sorry, but this whole boundary limits thing is as ridiculous as when we tried to really judge the game on its menu screen. But even then, the ridiculousness doesn't stop there. While, Jeff Keighley over on Gamescom was trying to introduce Todd Howard and hype Bethesda and StarField, somebody rushes on stage demanding to know about Grand Theft Auto 6. People are willing to go to jail over StarField and stealing copies of the game and somehow getting clout and hype on the internet with it. I mean, there's a big fun story behind that one. Sony fans are coming out on the internet demanding for people to stop hyping StarField altogether. But really, is that even possible? Because at this point on Steam, StarField has taken the #1 seller spot from even Baldur's Gate 3 over on Steam. What's making the hype for StarField get even more special and exciting for me, and to show that the hype cannot be extinguished, is now kind of people in Hollywood are starting to weigh in on it. We already saw some footage on Twitter of Bobby Lee explaining that he doesn't want to date a girl that is going to prevent him from playing StarField for 16 hours a day. No, he doesn't want to have any romance at the park. If they want to go out and get a steak and take a break from the game, that's cool. But other than that, he just wants to be able to play a game for 16 hours a day, and she can just go out and hang out with her friends. But for me, the big highlight was some footage that took place over on social media with Post Malone outside a concert that he just did, signing CDs, doing what he does best, interacting with the fans. And the lady taking the footage asked him if he is going to be playing StarField. And this is where it got funny for me. Sorry for the foul language, but he put out and said, "Fuck yeah, I am going to play the shit out of StarField. I am so excited. I'm going to be on tour, but I got a nice rig to play on." So even Post Malone out on tour is going to find some way to play this game because he is uber excited and ready to just play the shit out of it. Moving on to a subject that we're all becoming very familiar with at this point, and that is Microsoft's buyout of Activision. It was recently revealed to get it past the CMA, they offered to transfer the streaming rights for all of Activision's games over to Ubisoft. Now, that being said, it opened up a whole world of questions that everybody's curious about, so Phil Spencer decided to go in detail in an interview with Destin Laguerre over at IGN during the Gamescom conference, and he explained kind of how some of the inner workings were going to take place. But also in the conversation, he revealed to everybody about their expectations on what exactly is going to happen with Activision game titles when it comes to Game Pass. He's quoted in saying, "I want to make sure people know that there's work to actually move games to Game Pass. So for the people who think the deal is going to close and then everything's available, that's not true, and it hasn't been in other acquisitions that we've done. There's work for us to go do, just mechanical work for us to go do, so it'll take us time. Definitely time to get the games in the portfolio." He reveals that there is no magical little switch that they're going to flip over at Microsoft when the deal closes, and all of a sudden all the Call of Duty games and everything else that you would like to see come to Game Pass from Activision is just not going to magically appear there the day they sign the deal. So I'm actually really happy that Phil Spencer is coming out and quelling expectations and telling people to manage them and not believe that there really is this magical switch and everything is going to be available the day the deal closes. And there has been a lot of people kind of wondering if that's even possible or if it's going to happen. And this is where he's nipping it in the butt right now, letting people that that's just not going to be the way it happens. So now it just kind of makes us wonder what exactly is going to take place when it comes to the games of Activision going into Game Pass. Is it possible for all of them to come in? Are some of them contractually obligated to kind of appear there slowly over time? Time will only reveal exactly what is going to happen, but at least now we have some clarification that it is not going to just happen overnight. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you checking out today's content. If you did like it, please like, subscribe, comment down below, all that fun stuff that YouTube likes to see to help my channel growth. As always, check out the end card here at the end of the video. Check out my latest video, also explore my channel. And I always have to end off with always reminding everybody to never get involved in the dogma of the console war. Just be sure to play the games you prefer on the console that you love. I am Centurion1307, and thank you for watching.